This episode of Savage Sessions is brought to you and produced by Radio Salad Studios. And now your host, Chucky T.
Our opening shot takes us over top of a map of the Weird West. The map initially shows us the old 1875 edition. And as it goes up, it slowly pans around as we see a little beacon, almost like a little ember, sitting on the map, and it's glowing. And we see below this ember, the words Shan Fran are burnt into the map, and the camera continues to go down. And as the clouds dissipate, we see a small coastal city. Cheerful music is playing in the background. Camera goes swooping down, and we see the people are milling around, and it is an amazing combination of Western and Eastern architecture, almost perfectly blended together. The Eastern architecture does dominate more of the Western, but the feel is still there. Beautiful decorations are put up, and it's both a mix of Christian holiday and the Eastern Chinese holiday. And as the camera goes along through the streets and the joyous music is playing, it circles around a saloon, and out from the saloon, it says Jade Pavilion. There's a large green dragon with very cleverly placed lanterns that show off the name and the dragon. We can hear music playing on the inside, and there's several individuals, and they're all fine dressed. There are bodyguards out front, and they are wearing beige tunics. Excuse me, not beige, more like khaki type colored tunics, with predominant yellow sashes, headbands, or armbands. And anyone that is either not on the list or, quite frankly, doesn't look like they belong are violently pushed and moved back. The camera goes up and over top of them, and it goes into this saloon. The bartender glances up, and he looks directly at the camera. Howdy! Welcome to the Jade Pavilion. Happy New Year. It's going to be a hell of a time. And as he smiles and he holds up a glass with green liquid in it, the camera goes into the green liquid. It swirls around, and the letters Deadlands, the Weird West, show up. And we go to our opening credits.
This episode is brought to you by the kind people at Red Juice Studios. They produce some great shows and could produce yours too. If you have an idea on a podcast and you're not sure where to go, these guys can help. Check out their stuff at redjuicestudio.com. There's a cool kitty cat on the splash page. Go see it now. Hello, players, and welcome to Savage Sessions, a production of Radio Salad Studios. My name is E.E. Morris, and will be your host along with Chucky T and Big Stompy Robot and Totes McGoat for Deadlands, the Weird West. Big Trouble in Kowloon, a tabletop RPG powered by Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, created by our friends at Pinnacle Entertainment. Definitely check them out for all your role-playing needs. Now, as is tradition here at Savage Sessions, if there's any in-game currency, we'd like to start our players off with a little bit more. For this system, that comes in the forms of pennies. These are points that the players can spend to do cool and crazy things in the game, like survive. The players have their current pennies, and they may now gain a little bit more by giving us a 60-second intro of yourself and a "Who are you?" from the player's perspective. Fish, would you like to kick it off?
Sure, I'll wing it. You're on the clock. All right. Big Stompy Robot, and for this game, I will be playing Sister Mercy. A cult-carrying nun who works for the Sisters of Mercy, is part of their, I don't want to say cult, but their sisterhood.
Yeah.
She was an actual gunslinger before she joined them. She does put the Sisters of Mercy before her other allegiance to the Twilight Legion. Imperium, or no, Twilight Legion. Imperium. I gotta hold on to that. Oh, that comes from that makes me think of Doom. Right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, she's got some conflicts in her life, and she's trying to do right. Exactly. Nicely done. Go ahead and take her other Benny. And what about you, my good man?
Yeah, so hi there. Of course, you already know me. I'm E.E. Morris, and I will be playing the character of Lacey O'Malley. Yes, so Lacey O'Malley, he's a journalist of the newspaper that I can't remember the name of.
The Tombstone Epitaph.
Yeah, that guy. Basically, it's a questionable rag of questionable sources of questionable stories. But Lacey knows everything in that is true. He is a firm believer. He's drank the Kool-Aid. He is on the side of the paranormal and the weird and the crazy, and it has to have happened. Otherwise, what's the point? So, he writes from the heart, but he has the facts, and he's overly curious. And the funny part is that he likes to possibly make the enemy and finding the story. He'll rake the muck, and if he didn't write it, it didn't happen. Yeah, he's honest to a fault, and he believes everything he writes.
Exactly. Nicely done. Go ahead and take your Benny, and let me move you guys off the splash page to the Jade Pavilion. The Jade Pavilion is also playing host to a very auspicious occasion. The Twilight Legion are essentially a band of monster hunters. They explore and record and confront the, monsters. They combat the darkness. Across the pond in the UK, and over in Europe, there is another band of monster hunters referred to as the Rippers. The two groups have lightly communicated, and on occasions, if the Twilight Legion find themselves over in Europe, or the Rippers find themselves in North America or in that general area, they have collaborated. But tonight is supposed to be a chance for the two groups to sit down and really start discussing how they can collaborate in a more solidified manner. There's a man in Shan Fran, and his name is Chow Sun Lee. Chow Sun Lee. Chow is an active ally for both the Rippers and the Twilight Legion. He's only been in the States now for about 5-6 years. He's originally based out of Hong Kong. So yes, based out of Hong Kong, and he's recently moved. He's a well-established merchant, incredibly rich, and financially supports both of these groups. He is the one that opened the invitation so that both groups could more effectively work here in North America and over in Europe. Chow has a very impressive family. He has a lot of sons. While he does have daughters, there's a bit of misogyny there, and he does favor his sons more. Because then again, as you have learned, Chow is also himself from a very large family. He has multiple brothers, multiple sisters. So as the party is moving along, Sister Mercy, you're by the bar, taking in the revelries. Shady Doug and Bad Luck Betty are towards the front. Very nice. Towards the front, they're playing poker. And Bad Luck Betty has already been cursed a few times because she's losing badly. You see Chow is speaking to two very distinguished individuals. Their ensemble is very similar to how men and women of high society in Shan Fran are dressed, but there's a little bit more authenticity to them. They're both redheads. The man as he walks, he just walks with authority. The woman on his arm smiles mischievously as she's being led around, and they're talking to Chow, and they're moving up to the bar. And Chow introduces
Mr. Clean,
Mr. and Mrs. Wolf. They are esteemed guests of mine. Whatever food and beverage they desire, please allow them to indulge. The man behind the bar, again, he nods and he gives a respectful bow to both of the wolves. And then Chow turns, he looks at Lacey, and his smile goes away as he eyes Lacey up and down. Everett, in your head, What does Lacey look like?
So he's just under 6 feet. No, Ridge is really tall for a first generation Irish American.
Okay.
But his dad was really short, so he's trying to figure that one out, where that came from. But he's really tall, really skinny, and of course that typical ginger hair.
Okay.
He's got fair skin, green eyes. I mean, just the epitomous Irishman. You know, um, just and of course, his suits are weathered. They're not torn. They're very well maintained.
Okay.
But not the top of fashion, but not a slouch either.
Because the young lady immediately leans on the counter. The man that she was hanging on to cocks his head and grits his, bares his teeth, and he's not happy with how she is behaving. So it's very unladylike the way she's draped herself on the counter, and she looks playfully at Lacey, and her English accent cuts through, and she extends her hand, introduces herself as Sophia Wolf. And who might you be?
Oh, well, it's very nice to meet you, Miss Wolf. My name is Lacey O'Malley. Absolutely wonderful to see you tonight.
Oh, she nods and, look, dear. And she looks back and says, are you from Ireland, or are you just... And her voice quickly drops into a perfect Irish accent. Perfect Irish accent. And she asks if, are you from Ireland? Or are you more native born too? And then it drops to a perfect Southern American accent. Here in America.
Well, so I smile. I give her a side glance with one raised eyebrow, and I look at her and I said, well, my father was natural born Irish. I'm an Irish American, first generation off the boat, if you will. And, so we're just making our way. But dare I say, ma'am, you're conquering of the dialects is just absolutely astounding.
She flicks her hair back. She turns and says, you see that, Archie? Someone appreciates my talents. Archibald Wolf. You'll have to excuse my wife. She can be excitable. Sister Mercy, standing at the bar, taking in all of this. And from the right side of O'Malley, we see Stephanie Wolf's head peer out around the side. And she's looking at Sister Mercy, and a Cheshire cat grin comes across her face. And she pushes past O'Malley before her husband can catch her, because he sees exactly who she's walking towards. And Archibald just, oh, no, not the church, not the church, not the church. And Stephanie just glides up to Sister Mercy and stops and smiles and puts out her hand. Stephanie Wolf, pleasure to meet you.
Oh, I'm Sister Mercy.
Greg, in your head, what does Sister Mercy look like?
You're just your typical everyday nun. She's got the full on nun headgear, nun robes. What you can't see is that she's got her coat kind of tucked with a quick draw spot in the robes.
Yep. And the good book?
The good book is tucked with a quick draw spot on the other side.
Nice. Wait, so she doesn't have the. Does she have
She's
the book
equally
out now?
prepared.
Right. So she doesn't have the book out now.
No, I mean, she's not trying to. I don't know if offend anybody is the right word in the crowd.
Right.
And she's not there to convert anybody to her religion. We got secrets.
Stephanie nods and she looks back at Archibald, and Archibald's eyes are huge, and he's just shaking his head, and he just mouths, "Behave yourself." She looks back at Sister Mercy. "What brings you to the party tonight?"
I'm here as part of the Twilight Legion.
"Are you?" She looks back, and Archibald just rolls his eyes, puts his head down. "Oh, my dear, you know full well." "I know, but it's fun to ask. It's fun to." And she slides up, and she's leaning against the bar, and she's invading Sister Mercy's space. She's practically leading.
She's not intimidated or anything in that respect.
Exactly. And
a matter of fact, she might even lean more into her.
Oh,
not necessarily to be a challenge, but just to be friendly, maybe.
Right. Yes. And for a split second, that throws Stephanie. That throws her off. And she actually pulls back a bit. She glances and she looks at Archibald. This is going to be a fun night. Oh, she wraps her fingers on the counter and yells out, "Good man, bring us something fine to drink. I am parched." And she pivots and she's resting her hands below her chin and she's waiting for the bartender to come forward. "Gentlemen, the two of you have the scene. What are the two of you doing?"
Well, the sister's not going to go nuts, and she doesn't necessarily shy away from alcohol.
Right.
She'll take a shot just to be
nice.
So to speak. She'll
nice.
take a shot and slam it back and put it down.
Lacey.
And then I'd say thank you, using some manners.
Lacey, look at that.
Yeah, I look at the right nun and I'm like, well done. So we're doing shots, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shots. So at that rate, I kick it all the way back, but it's like, oh, it burns, you know.
Nice.
Yes. You know, but I do my best to hide it, you know.
Oh, yes. Well, and Stephanie, not to be outdone, she picks up and she looks, her eyes are wide now. Now, this is it. This is what she's been missing. This is now the start of a party. This is what she wants. You can see the energy just coming off of her. Her face has come alive. And she nods. She looks at Archibald, and Archibald's looking at the shot. And he looks up, and then she just, boom, she just kicks it back, flips it, drops it down. Ah, just like Prague. And Archibald cocks his head. He looks at it and takes half. You and I have different memories of Prague.
I look at the lady and I look at her and I says, "Well, Mrs. Sophia Stephanie, I gotta say, you handle that like a real lady."
Oh, wow. I've read almost every article that we can get a hold of. The epithet is astounding. The stories that are coming out of North America are incredible.
Well, thank you, ma'am. We do our best to write them in an accurate and yet colorful and maybe embellishing, but definitely accurate way.
Well, who would believe the truth anyway? If you were to actually print the actual truth, isn't that right, Sister Mercy? For the things that we've seen.
And I look at her and I'm saying, my jaw kind of opens up like, Um, everything I write is accurate.
It's at this moment that Chow comes back, and he's happy to see that you're all very relaxed, and you're chatting with each other. And he nods, and he raises his hands, and he wants to introduce you to his 9 sons. 9. He has 9 sons. Stephanie puts her hand to her chest and playfully nudges Sister Mercy, and her hand comes out and she pats on O'Malley. My goodness, that woman has been very busy. Archibald just grimaces and, oh, Stephanie, what? What? I'm just saying, 9 strapping young men. I'm jealous. Archibald, we should have 5. We should have 5 by now. Archibald's face gets beat red, and he just starts hammering. He doesn't know what to say. And she smiles and she bows. And in perfect Mandarin, at the bottom of the screen, we can see the translation in perfect Mandarin. She apologizes for her husband. Sometimes the drink can go to his head. Chow nods, and several of his sons also nod. 9. He has 9 sons. Could each of you please give me a notice roll? Because while this conversation is going, cue up the ominous music. Oh,
5.
Got a 5. Nice. Okay. While this conversation's been going on, the camera has been slowly going around, and it goes in on several individuals. Men dressed nice. They're dressed nice. Got a 4. Nice. Each of you have succeeded. And you didn't notice them while you were engaged in your conversations with the wolves because you were having a good time. But now that there's a little bit of attention, then both of you, O'Malley, you just happen to look towards the front, and it's because Bad Luck Betty and Doug have gone to step outside. And as they're walking by, there's a small Asian man has bumped very callously into Betty. And Betty, as she gets bumped back, she turns around, she tips her hat back. Oh, what that? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no, little man. Oh, hell no. You turn around, you apologize. You don't bump a lady. And the man turns, looks up at her. Apologies. You look like a man.
Ooh.
Betty's eyes get big, and her fists go back, and comes up and draws back, and Doug grabs onto her arm, and he pulls her back, and she's now struggling against Doug. Doug's trying to hold her back from clubbing this guy, and the guy that bumped into her, he just kind of chuckles, but he stops and he glances, and O'Malley, that's what you notice. He looks over, and he looks at another guy dressed very similar to him. And the thing that you catch is the guy that he's looking at has pulled a red stash out from a pocket inside of his jacket. And it looks like he was in the process of wrapping around his waist. And he's looking over at the guy that bumped into Betty. And they exchange looks. And Lacey, as you glance around, there are 2 more men on the other side by the walls, just like little wallflowers. But they each have red bandanas, or excuse me, red sashes around their wrists. And one of them is slowly taking it off, and he bows his head. He's starting to put it around his forehead. Mary, you look over by the stairs, and on the stairs, there's a man leaning against the wall, and he's also putting a red sash around his waist. You see him look up to the second floor, And as you look at both sides, the left and the right on the second floor, you see two men on both sides, and they're also putting sashes on.
Oh, great.
Are you saying anything to anyone? What are the two of you doing?
I'm still standing next to Mr. Chow, right?
Yes.
I'm going
And
to
his
point out a couple of those red sashes and see if he knows what they are.
what about O'Malley? What is O'Malley doing?
So my first thought is, are these members of the Thugi cult that fight for the Indian deity Kali? If you know, you know.
Yes, yes.
So I immediately shout out, "Where's Clang?"
Chow turns in and it's his sons. Their eyes get big and they see these men. The man on the stairs, he drops down and he immediately reaches back and he pulls out a long freaking curved knife and he screeches something in Mandarin, to which Stephanie turns and she sees her eyes get big and Chow yells out, "It's an ambush!" As the men begin immediately hacking and slashing their way towards Chow. The men upstairs are starting to run down. The man on the stairs is just starting to run down. And they're all yelling out. If anyone gets in their way, they're getting kicked, punched, pushed, or cut. And again, they're trying to beeline the way towards Chow. One of Chow's sons yells out, "Soldiers of Kowloon! Everyone get down!" And here we go. Okay, I'm going to draw one card for these guys. And then I'm going to draw, we're going to be drawing cards for initiative. So there's one card that is going to represent all of these guys, all right? These guys are extras. All you have to do is one wound and they're down. They have a toughness of 6. Okay? Toughness of 6, which means you have to do 10 points of damage to them to do a wound. All right? Pop these over here. All right, gentlemen, the bad guys got themselves a 4. You guys just please take your cards and pop them on, well, one at a time. One at a time. So, Greg, take your card, put it on the table next to the 4.
I got a jack.
Nice. Nice. Well done. Okay, so nicely done. Everett, go ahead, take your card, put it on the table. You might have to slide the bar down.
No, we're good. I have a magical 3.
Okay, do you like that 3 or do you want something different?
I love that 3.
You want the 3. Okay, so here we go.
It's going to make me happy.
It's going to make you happy. All right, so these guys are running forward. So, Sister Mercy, you are up first. You have anyone that's in yellow is someone that you can take a shot at. So, that you or either take a shot at, interact with. The ones in yellow are the bad guys, and there are several of them. So, what is Sister Mercy doing?
Any of them in yellow, huh?
Any of them in yellow, yes. Which I know is counterproductive. I know they're red sashes, but you'll be okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to take a shot at the one standing next to the dude at the table.
Okay. Remember, she is a pacifist.
Yeah, I know. But they're also waving knives and running in my direction.
They are.
And I'm not necessarily shooting to kill them.
There we go. Okay.
Just kind of, make them drop the knife, wound them.
Something. Okay. So we got options. So are you trying to disarm them? Or are you trying to pop them in the leg?
I think with this situation, I'm gonna pop him in the legs to make sure.
Okay, that'll be a -2. Go ahead, give me a shooting roll.
Of course it is. Oh, where's my shooting? There's a 14.
That's a 14.
Oh shit. Okay. So that's your success. That's your raise.
She was a gunslinger in her past life.
Yeah, and O'Malley, as the nun turns and the brothers have scattered and they're trying to help. A couple of them are around Chow. His eldest son is barking commands at his brothers in Mandarin, and so the younger ones have quickly jumped to either protect their father or to try and protect any of the party members.
Yeah, I mean, I seen what was happening after Chow, and then everybody started yelling that they're a rival gang and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She turns around, she pops the shot off, and then she proceeds to put her gun away. She pulls her book out and says a quick little, "I'm sorry."
Yeah. Udu's back is to the nun, and she doesn't care. And it's leveled at the dude's go. Probably like you watch it go from the back of his head. You watch it drop down to a center mass, and her head tilts unconsciously. Her head tilts just a little, and then it drops down further, and she pops a shot very cleanly, and it blasts this dude in his calf. He screams, goes down. Betty's jerks forward. She pulls Doug with her, and they go tumbling over top of this guy. And Betty is now literally straddled this dude and is pounding the hell out of him. Nicely done. All right, so now we get to these guys. All right. The nun, one of the guys breaks off, and he literally runs up and he slams himself kamikaze style right into the nun. Another guy is running up. Yeah, another guy is running up, and he pushes O'Malley back, and then he has started to engage with one of the brothers around Chow. Another guy has run down, and Archibald has intercepted him, but there are two more men that have come from downstairs. So far, the only one that has popped off a shot is Sister Mercy. All right, so I got to do real quick. Again, these are just extras. So the one that's on Sister Mercy. No, that is not correct. I'm sorry. I rolled the wrong thing. All right, on Sister Mercy. Okay, a 2. So no. The guy runs up. He slams into Sister Mercy. He's getting ready to pummel her. And he has failed. Greg, what just happened? How did this guy fail? In your head, what does that look like?
She already had her book out. She probably just used that and fucking, well, pardon my language, just whopped him with the book right across the face.
Nice. As he slams into her, pulls back. Yes. Miss Sister Mercy doesn't even bring strides. She just brings. It's not a little book. It's not a little book. It's a.
She's got the big words.
She got the big book. Hoists it back. She has the gun, and the gun involuntarily comes up, and the barrel is under the dude's chin. And then she grits her teeth, and she clubs the guy upside the head. It doesn't really damage him, but it's enough to send him back a couple paces. And the whole place is now broken into people running, slamming into each other, people kicking and biting each other. The other guards are engaged with other people. So Lacey, now we come to you, because the guy that pushed you back, he doesn't care about you. He doesn't view you as a threat.
Right.
and he's engaged with two of Chow's sons. They're trying to protect Chow.
Mm.
What is Lacey doing?
So what I would like to do is do just a really quick draw on the guy directly behind me.
Okay.
And, basically take him down and then find a way to.
Because there's one currently also engaged with a nun.
Right. And, I figure because I know the nun could probably take care of herself.
Okay.
So I'd like to disable the one and get my gun pointed at the one next to the nun and support her.
Nice. Okay. Well, go ahead. Give me a shooting roll.
If my mouse cooperates. Holy crap. So, yeah, for some reason I got booted off. It was weird. Lacey. And shooting, which is a D6. And I get a 5 and a 3.
All you need is a 4, so that connects. So off to the side, could you please roll me 2d6?
Oh, you bet. Because they're going to ace. Maybe.
Oh my God. Yeah, roll me another 6. Holy
Dude,
shit.
I was like, yeah, did I see that right? Yep.
You got 11, so technically he's down, but hell, fuck it. I want to see. Because again, the turkey is still available.
Yeah.
So you got a 5, 16, so it's 16. So yeah, the shot effectively, as because again, like I said, he's doing well against two opponents.
Yeah.
And what really draws it up is like, because at first Lacey, what it's like, you pull, because it's just a little stub nose. It's not a real big fancy hand cannon. It's just a little stub nose, So as you pull that little guy out, and because again, it's the chaos all around you, and you watch as this guy comes forward, and it's just a flying kick into one kid, like literally, like these are like teenagers, and a flying kick into one kid, it sends him damn near flying across the room, and it's just a series of light jabs and blocks, and he drops another kid, and they're desperately trying to, half carry, half drag their father away from these psychotic bastards. And then the guy holds back, and he reaches around and he pulls out this crazy looking dagger. Like, it has a long, thin blade in the middle. It has 2 blades on the sides, and he spins this thing around. He hoists it above his head. Well, that was enough for you. And it's a quick shot to the back of this dude's head, and he drops to the ground like a sack of potatoes. And so, yeah, Archibald is engaged. He calls for his wife. His wife springs forward, and she drops to the ground, and it is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. As the hairpins that she was holding, they're not flimsy at all. Like, they're like sharpened steel rods. And she proceeds to start with the man's calves, his knees, his thighs, his lower stomach, before she finally ends with jamming both of them into this poor bastard's chest. And she follows him to the ground, pulls them out. Archibald pivots around, and he's holding your camera. And he glances back, and in a very British way, apologies, my good man. And he pivots back around, and he lets off a flash, and it blinds the 2 men, and they go stumbling down the stairs. And that's when the front of the bar literally explodes inwards. Glass and wood go flying. People drop to the ground screaming in pain as the shrapnel has shredded their bodies. And other people are just hit with other shrapnel and injured. And a large cloaked figure strides in. 4 more men flank his left and his right. And behind him, a woman dressed in old style, but vibrant Chinese robes, floats into the Jade Pavilion. And in one hand, she's holding a green orb. And as she hoists it above her head, Chow looks up, his eyes wide. His sons are glancing over. They're looking, and they're pale, absolutely pale. And all he whispers is, Dao Long Fang. No. And the camera pivots back around, zooms in on this pale, ghostly sorceress, and she's a good 2 to 3 feet off the ground, and she begins to cackle, and her voice booms across the room. Chow, I have arrived to take something precious to me. And she has a very maniacal grin and crazy eyes. And that's the camera zooms in on, those crazy bloodshot eyes and impossibly white teeth. And the screen goes black and the credits roll. That's a wrap for this week. Join us again here at Radio Salad Studios, home for Savage Sessions.
Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and hit that bell icon to be notified when new episodes are released.
Until we see each other again,
go out there,
be safe,
have fun,
and may the dice be with you.
Always.
This game references the Savage Worlds game system, available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at www.peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle and all rights reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings, and unique characters, locations, and characters, logos, and trademarks are copyrights of Pinnacle Entertainment Group.